Nice Harper lift off and gone. Oh, man.
This is Rocks and Dirt. I'm Mike Harper. I'm here with Todd and Steve.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, hello.
Led Zeppelin. It was all the way back to 1968. Steve, the year you were born.
Yeah.
I understand that your first birthday, you got a Led Zeppelin album. Is that
Actually,
correct?
I read that they did their first gig, or some of their first gigs, in the month I was born, I think.
No kidding.
September 68. Their first album came out in January 69.
69, yeah, that's right.
So-
Once again, Steve, you're correct.
I didn't get into it until I was about maybe 11,
Second grade.
About 12. By the time they broke up because their drummer died.
Oh,
And then
right.
I started playing guitar at that time, then I really got into them then.
Big influence, would you
Yeah,
say?
yeah.
Absolutely. The combination of Plant, Page, Jones, and Bonham were recognized as one of the first in what was called heavy metal at the time, the early stages of heavy metal. Would you agree?
Yeah, what was this loud blues rock? Like Black Cream and Hendrix, or the Who, but just they took it to another level. But I think the next year when Black Sabbath came out, they kind of made it. I would say that's the first heavy metal. But Led Zeppelin had the heavy riffs and the guitar and the bass playing those heavy riffs together.
Yeah,
much like Black Sabbath and those other bands did a little bit later.
So a three-piece band.
Yeah, but they were more versatile than that. They had a lot of acoustic stuff and a lot of other
Right.
I don't know, Celtic and Middle Eastern acoustic.
Depending on who wrote it, whether it was
Right.
Page or Plant, right?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
Okay, you know what that means.
Did you feel that?
That means I'm going to go down the rabbit hole.
What
I go down rabbit holes,
Todd,
too.
did you have a thought on this?
Yes, I did. And it's totally off the subject. There was a band who used the phrase heavy metal in a song. Who was it?
In 1968, it was Steppenwolf. It was Heavy Metal Thunder and Born to Be Wild.
Is that not where we got the phrase heavy metal, or am I wrong about that?
I'm not sure. I really don't know.
I think you could go ahead and say it. Who's going to argue?
I don't know if they started
Yeah.
calling it heavy metal until maybe later in the 70s or even the.
That's where heavy metal comes from.
But yeah, that's where the word was first probably used in a song. I would think. I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't born yet.
But you Googled it later and you found
Yeah.
out. Led Zeppelin has been called as influential in the 70s as the Beatles were in the 60s. Would you agree?
no.
Led Zeppelin could be the Beatles of the 70s as far as hard rock. They were
Just in
certainly huge.
terms
They were
of
filling
popularity,
stadiums, yes.
and kind of paving the way for
Yes.
other bands being as influential.
Of course, you had the Rolling Stones and the Who were also playing stadiums in the 70s also, so you could make an argument for them. But
How would you rank Led Zeppelin overall in classic rock and rock history? Where would you rank them? First, second, third, fourth, what?
oh wow, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones,
There you go.
the Who, and Led Zeppelin. I'd put them at number 4 or 5.
That's why you and I are friends.
Oh
Steve.
yeah, yes.
What would you say is their best album? They had 9 albums between 1969 and 1982. Your favorite?
That's hard. Led Zeppelin 4 is or the 4th untitled album with
Untitled.
Stairway to Heaven and
Yeah.
Black Dog and Rock and Roll. That is probably the most popular. My personal favorite now as a bass player is probably Led Zeppelin 2. There's just so much amazing John Paul Jones bass lines, and
There you
they're
go.
way out front. You know, Ramble On and What Is and What Should Never Be, which we play.
Yeah.
The Lemon Song, some great blues bass playing.
The Lemon Song.
It's hard to choose.
Yeah.
Oh, Physical Graffiti. That's like their white album. That
Yeah.
was their double.
Yeah, that's kind
Oh,
of.
that's a good album.
Hey, Steve, do the Damone line.
When it comes down to making out, put on side 1 of Led Zeppelin 4.
Put on side 1 of Led Zeppelin 4.
This is a nice car.
In the movie, they play Kashmir, which was on Physical Graffiti. After
right.
he says that. But, you know.
Physical Graffiti ranks is probably my favorite, but I got to give you a Led Zeppelin too. Boy, my goodness. So, all right. So then, true or false, Steve? If Page and Plant called you tomorrow, you'd be out of here as quicker than we could say dazed and confused, wouldn't you?
No.
Well, I can't play keyboards that well. I mean, John Paul Jones was an amazing keyboard player, or is an amazing keyboard player
Good point.
also.
Right.
So if it was just playing bass, wow, I don't know. That'd be fun.
Be a tough call, wouldn't
But I can't play keyboards or bass pedals. He played the bass
So
pedals.
you'd say,
Playing
I'm
keyboards.
sorry, guys, I'd love to come along, but I'm not qualified. Is that what you'd be saying?
Yes.
I don't think so. And now a word from our sponsor.
You know what that sound means?
is that? Bathroom break?
No, I'm opening up a can of worms.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Todd.
Okay, John Bonham.
Yeah.
Great drummer. Best drummer ever.
John Henry Bonham.
It depends on your genre, but I guess if you're going to put it depends on there. Again, bathroom break.
Most influential in the hard rock genre.
Have a Twix or something.
Yeah, I think a hard rock genre, I'd have to give him the nod.
Yeah, he was great. I think all those little nuances he put in all those songs were so great. Now the solos, I had a hard time sitting through the solos.
Well, he's got Moby Dick.
With his hands.
Playing with his hands and stuff.
Yeah, that one. If you're a drummer, you're kind of opening your mouth and you're drooling. But for the average listener, it might be a little long.
That backbeat though in those songs.
His bass drum. Oh, get me started. My goodness.
Yeah.
I think Led Zeppelin would have still been a great band with a different drummer, but with him, it puts him over the top. I mean, his drumming really, of course, all four of them were amazing.
And that way they put it in the mix, big drums. Just,
Well, the way drums were mic'd and mixed in a hard rock album, that was revolutionary.
Hey, tell the Don Henley story, Steve.
Yeah, I was reading in a book about the Eagles that Glenn Johns produced the first couple of Eagles albums in England, and he was known for engineering and producing bands like Led Zeppelin, The Who, The Small Faces, The Faces, The Rolling Stones. And Don Henley says in the book, I asked Glenn Johns, could you make my drums sound like John Bonham? And Henley says in the book, Glenn Johns kind of looked down his nose at me and said, you don't play like John Bonham.
Ouch.
That's got a sting.
And Glenn Johns in his book said something like, so I tried to say, or maybe it was in one of those other Eagles books. I try to tell him it's about the person, how you play. Really, it's not necessarily how I get the sound.
Yeah, you're going to have the skills. You're going to have to bring the chops.
And Don Henley's a great drummer, just a different kind of. Nobody's John Bonham.
Oh yeah, Don Henley is a very workmanlike drummer. He does the standard. He keeps a solid beat.
Oh yeah,
nothing fancy. John Bonham just brings the wow.
Yeah.
He just brings the blow your face off, baby. That's what.
Hey, who's better, John Bonham, or no, not John Bonham? We know he's better. Who would say the Eagles? Don Henley or Ringo?
I'm going to give the nod to Ringo.
You think Ringo's a better drummer? What do you think, Steve?
Well, John Bonham is great. He wouldn't.
No, not John Bonham.
Oh,
Don Henley or Ringo?
I'd say Ringo's a little bit more inventive.
Ringo's the band drummer. He plays with the song.
Yes.
The question is Ringo the best drummer in the world?
He's not even the best drummer in the Beatles.
Oh, wait a minute. Where is it?
That's an old joke. It's not even mine. You set that right up, and I appreciate it.
I loved Ringo.
It was put him on the Ringo's my guy. He thinks a little highly of himself than he ought, but I love him in the Beatles.
Peace and love.
That's right. And now, Todd, a word from our sponsor.
Absolutely. Munt Music.
Munt Music.
Yeah. Come check us out at Munt Music. That's where we are during the day. And I'm teaching there. Mike is teaching there. And we've always got room to make room for one more. And thank you very much to Munt Music.
Welcome back to Rocks and Dirt. Did you have something for Steve?
Steve, did you want to plug anything while you were out there?
I'm good.
Okay, next time. I thought that was great.
Welcome back to Rocks and Dirt. Dallas Sports. Sports and Steve. Steve, Dallas Sports. How many Dallas teams have won championships? How many championships from Cowboys, Rangers, Stars, and Mavs? What's that total?
Okay, the Cowboys have won, I believe it's 5.
5 Super Bowls?
2 in the 70s and 3 in the 90s.
Okay, there you go.
The Rangers haven't won one.
They've come close.
They come very close. One strike, we all know. Oh, yeah. 2000 hurts. But speaking of 2011, that's the one year that the Mavericks did win the championship.
There you
They
go.
beat the Miami
So
Heat.
they got one.
They have won. The Dallas Stars have won. They won in 1999.
So that's
the
7.
Stanley Cup.
All right. Now, Cowboys are your team. They're also America's team, so you got that going for you. Do you have a lot of memories of the Dallas Cowboys, like with your dad, or how'd that all kind of start?
Well, my dad took us to games in the old Texas Stadium. I saw
You and your brother?
Yeah, the first year I went was 1979. That was Roger Staubach's last year, and they had Tony Dorsett and Randy White and Too Tall Jones, Charlie Waters and Cliff Harris. So I got to meet when I was playing a gig somewhere in the 90s. That was great. That was pretty cool. Just going in that stadium for the first time with the hole in the roof and the sun coming down on it. It was just That was great.
Nothing like it.
Yeah.
So if you had tickets, you had a choice that you could get tickets to see the Cowboys in a Super Bowl or the Rangers in Game 7 of the World Series. Which game would you go to?
This sounds strange. I'd have to go with the Rangers, and because they've never done it. The Rangers, Game 7 of the World Series.
See, again, this is why we can be friends.
It would totally depend on the halftime show.
Todd, there's no halftime show in baseball.
Because the Super Bowl is great on TV. Now, at baseball, I think if you're there,
You're right there at the game. Yeah,
if you're at the game, I think it's better.
You got
than-
field seats.
Football, you can watch on TV, and it's
I don't know what
great.
what the new stadium's like, but at the old stadium, you're on the first base side where there's a shade comes in first, and you can get right down there where you can hear the guys yelling at each other. Man, it's just nothing like it.
Game 7. Yeah.
And Todd, the halftime show is not bad there either. Well, that about do it for this segment of Rocks and Dirt for Todd and Steve and all of us at the Tuxedo Cats. Thank you for joining us. Roll the credits, Todd. Good night, Lois.